Hey everyone, today we've got a little unboxing on this little 7-port USB hub. Figured there was probably some people that wanted to see this. I couldn't find any videos on it, and there definitely were some things about it that were a little surprising. I've took it out at the package and looked at it, but I haven't hooked it up yet. So yeah, let's take a look at it. So I got this from Amazon. I think it was 15 bucks. And I'm going to use it on my sim rig. And one of the concerns with USB on your racing simulator is you use a lot of USB. There's so many things that use USB. You end up having 5 or 10 things connected. So some of the things that you would have connected, it basically what it does is it prevents your computer from going to sleep on its own, because it's drawing power, or it's communicating, or that's not the power draw, but it's because it's communicating with the computer doing certain things. And I've found Arduinos can definitely do it, but there's other things that I've connected to my racing simulator, same problem. I leave my computer on all the time. I work from home a lot. I work as a computer programmer. And so I'd rather my computer just go to sleep at night when I'm not using it, and then just wiggle my mouse in the morning and everything's back. So it doesn't put too much wear and tear on the computer if it goes to sleep. And so it just needed an easy way to turn the USB ports off and on. That way I don't have to unplug stuff. And the thing that was pleasantly surprised about this is it has a switch, obviously, for each USB, but I'm more interested in this master switch. And the last couple of these I've had that have had buttons to turn the USB hub on and off, this was a tactile switch, and I guess it sent a signal to the microcontroller inside to actually turn the power off and on. These actually feel like latching physical switches. You can see that kind of stays down when I press it, and when I release it, it pops back up. So I do believe that is a physical latching switch. And that's important to me, because the ones that I had before that just had the tactile switch, I would get issues sometimes where I would have to unplug the hub from the computer and plug it back in, even when it was powered off. And it wasn't anything that kept me from using them, but they were definitely annoying. And that most of those I owned, they ended up, after so much use, they ended up making their way into the trash. So, but yeah, let's get this thing plugged. Well, let's see what it comes with as far as cables. It comes with one cable, and yeah, it's a USB A to A male. And yeah, there's no USB-C cable. There is a USB-C input here. It says DC 5 volts. I don't know. I'm going to read the instructions. Can you power this externally? Is that what they're saying? That would be cool. Well, I can't read the instructions because there are none. Okay, well, I will look at that and see if is that made. I don't think it's made to power it. I think it's just you could connect it with USB-C if you wanted. But anyway, let's hook this up and see how it performs, and let's measure if it can output the full current from the actual USB port on the computer. I think that would be interesting to find out. So just to kind of see what this USB port, I've got this old laptop on my workbench here, just to kind of see what that's capable of. I know this is sideways, but we're drawing about 1.42 amps into my iPad, just straight from the USB port. And when I connect that to, this is a 30 watt, and then I've got one plugged in here that I used earlier, and this is I believe it's a 30 watt too, or at least advertised that way. and it was only pulling 1.42. So that's kind of like all that the iPad it's kind of all the power it quote unquote wants right now. So let's get the USB hub into the equation. Okay, so USB hub is connected with the cable they provided, and if I press, there's some light on now, it looks like, but not much. So if I press this power button, and then they've got an indicator light apparently for on and off. So let's see if we can get the full the amount of current that we expect. And we are getting 0.46 amps. So that's not very good. Let me open the iPad just and get the screen lit up just in case the iPad is current limiting. It's not very charged. Well, upside down again. Yeah, 464 milliamps. So that's not very good. So it seems like this is current limiting. Again, we can go directly back into the laptop. So iPad, and if we go directly back into the laptop, let's see what we get. We've already seen it a while ago, but yeah, we jump up to 1 point. Well, it's around 700 now, but if I open, I know it'll go up. A lot of times if I open the lid to the laptop, it'll jump up. Yeah, or iPad. Yeah, there's 1.43. It takes a second to get up there. So 1.43 amps. And let's do that one. One more time. Let's do that same thing. Let's hook. So here's the hub. So let's connect the hub up. And then again, we will plug. Let's pick a different port this time. I don't think it matters. $460 milliamps. That's all we're getting. So this is limiting the current apparently substantially. So if you wanted to charge things from it, it might not be the way to go. But that's probably not what you're buying it for. But let's see, because I don't see anything in the instructions. Let's see that if we provide external power to it, if that would give us more current. I'm very curious if that's what that's for. So I connected a USB-C, which goes up here to that power brick. I connected that here without this connected to the PC. Nothing lit up, nothing changed. And then when I plugged it in, I didn't want to mess anything up, but it didn't make any difference. The amount of current draw is still 400 and it's just right at 460 milliamps. So I don't know if that's per port, because I don't have two of these power meters, so I can't test that. I'm hoping that's per port. Which if that's the case, and it probably is, that's not too bad. But you definitely don't want to be charging your phones and stuff through here. I mean, you could, but it would charge really slow. 500 milliamps would take a long time to charge your phone, but it would kind of keep it up, and it would charge it. It would just be really slow because that's only 2.5 watts. So the next test, I think, is to see. I'm just going to go ahead and unhook this. I think the next test is going to be, let's see how it does reading from a memory card, because I know a lot of these things, they'll power keyboards, mouses, joysticks, controllers. They do really good with those things, but usually because the cord is so long and I don't really, yeah, I don't really actually know what type of circuitries in these are fully. They usually don't read memory cards too well. So let's test that theory. Okay, I've got some memory cards here. We're just going to pick one from our little 3D printed case. And we're going to put it into this adapter. And then we'll see if it actually reads it. Select to choose what. Okay, it may have actually worked. I should have already had File Explorer open. It did work. It did in fact work. It's here on the screen. You can see this is my second monitor. Those are the files on the drive. You can see here USB-D. So it did work. I'm actually surprised about that. That's really cool because most of these they just don't do that. They have problems. I wonder. Okay, let's try a thumb drive. Now I'm kind of excited. Okay, thumb drive. This is a 32 gig. It's not looking good. Well, okay, it took it a second, but I think it worked. It did work. Absolutely did work. So you can see here, I have Windows 11 on this thumb drive, and there it is. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. I don't know if I've actually ever had a hub that would read these. They pretty much all just don't. Especially the cords that you usually get, which this is a pretty short cord. It's only probably 3 feet. So, I mean, if you replace that with a 6-foot cord, I mean, I would say all bets are probably off. I guess we could test that. Okay, so I'm going to add this really cheap, let me see how tall this is, 6-foot USB extension cord. And I'm sure that the flash drive, let's just go ahead and take it out. I'm sure that's not going to work afterwards, but and I know this is a really cheap cable. It's so now we've got 9 feet of cable total. So you would not expect this stuff to work. You wouldn't. It worked. Absolutely worked perfectly. Let's install the thumb drive. Thumb drive loaded perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. That is very shocking. I mean, honestly, that's very impressive. So yeah, this cost a little more than some of the other USB hubs out there, but I have had so many hubs over the years, tons of them. This is definitely, I've never seen one that would, especially with longer cords, that would read thumb drives and memory cards. But if you wanted to connect a portable hard drive, I don't think it would work too well because you're down to 450 milliamps of current, which that might be enough, but they may have mechanisms where the platter speeds would slow down if if there wasn't ample power available, which I know a lot of portable hard drives are SSDs now, and I've got a portable drive, but I'm not going to bring it down here and test that. But yeah, this is great. I mean, I did not. Okay, let's test the on-off functionality because I just noticed something. It's a little bit of a letdown. So this whole time I have not had this button pressed. So apparently this is not a master switch. Apparently this just turns the RGBs on and off. That's all it does. So yeah, apparently these are, you have to do them individually. And I am seeing these disappear and come back on my monitor here as I press the buttons. I don't know if you can hear the sound too well in the camera. So these switches do work, but this switch is not a master power switch like what I hoped. That's okay, because I hedged my bets and I actually bought some USB toggle switches to go in line with this device, just because I was afraid that maybe that wasn't going to work right, or that I actually could use them in other places too. I've got a USB fan I keep on my desk. So not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, I think it's nice that you can turn the RGB on and off. I know a lot of people, they have their computer in their bedroom, and so that would definitely be an issue with trying to sleep at night. So you could just tap that button but you've still got some light, and it's not much, but I think in a dark room it would come through pretty darn bright. Honestly, it's if I hold the camera angle a certain way, you can see they're pretty bright, but when you don't look directly at them, let me kill the overhead light on the workbench, and maybe we can get a better idea of how bright they are. They're definitely bright enough where in a bedroom it might kind of annoy you at night. And there's a little bit of light on this too. It's not as bright as what the camera is making it look like, I will say that. But that's pretty bright. Turn these overheads back on. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna go in my sim rig. Does not have a screw hole or like a little cutout on the bottom, so that you could secure it with like a screw head on the wall or something. So Velcro is obviously going to be the way to go there. Just Velcro it back behind your computer monitor or up under your desk, or however you want to install it. But yeah, good purchase. Honestly, really, I definitely recommend this. I'm pretty excited about it. I hope you all enjoyed this little quick review. And if you get bored, come back to my channel. We do a lot of electronics repair, circuit board design, and soldering, things like that. See you on the next one.